All right, so I've done the 3 readings now. I'm going to let you guys pick based on the cards, and I want you to feel it out, and I want you to determine which one is the best one for you. Okay, pile number 1, you guys are the King of Wands. So if you feel like the King of Wands is calling to you, watch the pile 1 reading. The number 2 is going to be the 6 of Cups reverse position. All right, so if you're feeling this card, if you're very drawn to it, pile 2. Pile 3 is the 7 of Swords in the reverse position. So if you picked pile 3, or I mean if you picked this card, you're pile 3. I'm going to show all 3 so you can kind of weigh them out. Options are, could be more than 1, could be all 3, could be none. That is an option. So, is this the order? No, this is the order. Okay, so let's get this nice and clear here. I want you to see all 3 of them. Take a moment. I'll hold them up for about 5 seconds. So take a moment. 1, 2, 3, or literally none of them. If they all feel kind of equal, it can be hard to know if they're all 3 or if they're none. But ask yourself, is it all 3 or is it none? Okay? I'm going to say one more thing. No, I'm not. No, I am actually. I'm going to pull a general card for all you guys real quick. And then you can go ahead and check out the pile that is the best selection for you. Gift. This was one that I pulled. It's a repeat. I cannot remember if it was one of the piles or if I pulled it earlier. I mean, I talked a lot today on especially pile 2. So because of that, I have lost all sense of reality, and I'm gonna go. This is a good message. I'm gonna go ground myself, eat some food, whatever. But I haven't done it consistently because that would have been really exhausting. But it is very draining and takes a lot out of you when you're doing this kind of energy work. And one other thing I want to say is my next video is going to be on, I'm looking all around because I have it right here. Money, finances, career, and spiritual path. So if that's something you want to check in also, I'm coming out with that video real soon. So you have a wonderful day and happy anti-Valentine's Day. Bye. Hello, welcome to New Path Tarot. I'm Angie. And although generally I do tarot and oracle readings and such stuff, today I want to give you a little motivation and inspiration if manifestation is something that you would like to bring more into your life. So I have shared this in a previous video. I don't remember which one. Not relevant because I just want to show you guys this. One of my friends made this planner. Doesn't really matter what planner you use, but I just want to give you inspiration to use a planner, and I mean actually use it, because in the past I have gotten planners and then don't actually use them. This one has daily stuff, it has weekly stuff, but it also has, as far as weekly, tarot card of the week. So I did talk about my tarot card of the week on the other video, so I don't want to talk about that. What I want to talk about instead is the daily stuff. So this just kind of gives you self-check. This kind of keeps you honest, but it also gives you goals too. So meaning, like, if you don't give any reflection on your day-to-day, you might not be pushing yourself. So this encourages you to actually fill in your to-do list. There's, 4 different lines, so I'm like racking my brain. What can I actually get done so I can cross it off? And then, I just kind of put my notes so I don't have to like have them in my brain. And I like to have the physical pen to paper kind of stuff, because it's in your face. You have to pay attention to it. Okay, so I just wanted to throw that out there very quickly, that using a planner can help you with manifestation, because it's, keeping you on it. Also working with the moon cycles. So having said that, let's do a reading on manifestation really quick. Okay. I'm gonna do a general reading, and then I'll break into groups, and then we can see what's up for everybody. So first I'm gonna use Earthbound Oracle. We have gift. So the message I get right away intuitively is using your spiritual gifts to help you manifest. That's too basic. Using your spiritual gifts to manifest. So notice I said it the first time and I said no. Same words, different energy. Okay? This isn't like, this is the difference of my intention when I said them both. The first one, I was like saying, use a spiritual gift to manifest other things. The second one is use your spiritual gifts for manifesting. For example, let's say I want to manifest money, and I want to use my spiritual gift of clear knowing in order to do so. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to say to myself, what way can I manifest money the best? Could it be path A, path B, or path C? And then I would use my clear knowing to determine that. Well, option B is, I have a gift of clear knowing. How can I use that gift to bring in the money? In my case, easy, doing some sort of using it with tarot and things like that. See the difference of the two? I'm not saying the first one isn't valid, but the message that I was getting intuitively with my clear knowing is that second one. I really want to break down for you guys the clear knowing gift. The clear knowing gift. What it feels like, so that you can recognize it. Okay? Because if you can enhance this one, it's going to help you exponentially. So it's like this. All right, I'm going to do this at random. I'm just going to pick the first 3 cards on the top of the pile. All right. Failure, intuition, and air. Okay. So let's say this is just, like, of all the examples, there's so many. I'm just going to use this very easy example. I'm going to say, okay, these 3 cards fell on the floor, and I don't know which one it's supposed to be. I don't think it's all of them, but I'll mention them all really quickly. You might have seen me do this in other videos before. Like, I'll say that exact thing. I'll say, but the card that I want to really talk about, like the actual message, is this card. And it's because I scan them and it's like I'm drawn to one. That's how the it's not clairvoyance, it can be, but it's literally like a combo of clear feeling and clear knowing. So I'm just like, and then I'm like, intuition. But it could be 2 of them, and it could be like failure and intuition. And it's like, you are failing to use your intuition, or, in the past your intuition has led you astray. So what happens though, the second part of clear knowing, because like it's, you pay attention to what you feel is strong, but you're also paying attention to what feels not strong, because the polar contrast is how you can determine which one is and which one isn't. So if I feel absolutely nothing with air, then I'm like, there is no message at all with air. I might not even show it. In this case, it feels like a dead energy, like just like It's a flat line. There's nothing there. And intuition and failure to me feel equal. The options are, and I do this split second, like you guys wouldn't even know that this processing is going on in my head. I'm sitting here going, is it a combined message or is it a separate message? It's both. Okay, then should I go with saying the combined message first, or should I talk about them separate first? Go with combined. Okay. Like I feel them. I'll like separate them left and right, and I'll be like, this side is combined and this side is separate. I'm feeling like pulled to the side I allocated to that one. I'm like, all right, then I'm going to go. And I completely block out the other option for the moment so I'm not overwhelmed with options. And then once I feel like I've said everything I have to say with that, then I go on to the next one where I check again and I'm like, now should I talk about them separate? Okay, which one should I start with? Failure. Okay. Messages, blah, 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 blah. Am I good? Once I feel it's good, I put it aside and I'm like, now we'll talk about intuition. Da 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 da. And then once I feel that's good, then I ask myself, are we done? Or is there more? If there is more, then I scan my other cards and I'm like, all right, which one? Now let's say worst case, I scan my cards, I say which one, and then I go, okay, we'll use this one next. Because I'm like drawn to this one. So I'm shuffling, la di da di da, and nothing's coming out and nothing's happening. And I'm just like, why is nothing happening? Okay, I don't even feel that card, whatever. So then I'll be like, I guess my intuition failed me. But then sometimes what happens is there's either a message in that, or there's like a message I need to say that isn't in the cards, and it wouldn't have come to me if I wasn't in the space to have received it. Or I just suck at following my intuition with having picked a pile of cards that I don't actually need to use. So, that being said, that was like a teaching moment that I just did. I'm going to actually, again, using my intuition here, not do a general. We're going to split into groups, okay? So I'm going to do the readings first, then I'm going to show the cards here in a moment since I'm going to splice it together. I'm going to show the cards, like the main emphasis of the 3 different piles I do. Intuition like felt like 3. And when I do that, you're gonna look at them all 3 and then feel like which one are you most pulled to, the way I described to you. And if you have that ability, you'll know what I'm talking about, and then you can apply it at other times as well. So let's see how that goes, and I'll see you at your pick a card. Hello, pile 1. Let's get started with your reading. Bring to mind what it is that you most wanted to know at this time concerning relationships. Okay, so whether you're in a relationship or you're not, different messages will apply to you. Okay, so when we have the King of Pentacles, we got somebody, older man, 35 or older. This is basic meaning, tarot card meaning. So I'm just going to start with that. All right, so older man over 35 who has their money and their household priorities and whatnot straight. Okay, they are a businessman, somebody who might be an entrepreneur, owns their own business, head honcho, CEO, manager, something. But his finances are good. He might have investments, he might have properties, things like that. Okay? If you are single, let's have you kind of manifest this person, right? I used to be somebody who would say, I don't care if the person it has a lot of money or not. I just want to be happy. Um, but because the reason I said that, because let's just say I was playing small by saying that. I was settling by saying that. Okay. The reason I said that is because the contrast in my mind was women who want a guy with a nice car and they want him to be rich and have a nice house and everything, but they're miserable. So I'm like, I equated having nice things and having money and whatever to the woman being miserable. I don't know where I got that belief from. I don't know why I was thinking that. Why couldn't I have both? Why couldn't I have a man who had a lot of money? I thought I didn't deserve it. I grew up poor, so I didn't even know what it would be like to have a lot of money, and I just kind of thought I was always going to be like that. Um, and then everything I had ever experienced up until then was paycheck to paycheck. You got to work to make the money and that kind of thing. So I just want to give you that perspective to self check if you have that within you, to stop doing that yourself. And if you're looking for a relationship, do not be afraid to ask the universe for what is the best, and the best being somebody who has the traits of the King of Pentacles. If you want to do some more research on the King of Pentacles to kind of put that out there for yourself, to really have it in your energy field, that would be a good idea. If you do like vision boards or something, maybe having the King of Pentacles on your vision board and doing manifestation work, like with candle work and things like that, with the King of Pentacles. This could also be signifying that this person is coming to you. No manifestation required, because it's already on its way to you. Maybe you've done the work. Maybe this is confirmation that you are already in the works of receiving this. It's on its way to you. If you are in a relationship and the person you are with exhibits these characteristics, or if this is you yourself, then this is confirmation that you have picked the right pile and that your intuition is on point. Okay? Let's put that to the side and see what else comes up too. Okay, Lover's card, since this is a relationship reading. With the Page of Swords coming out in the reverse position, it could be talking about, because sometimes Lovers is a love triangle, choosing between two. It could be where you're choosing between two. Well, let's say you're currently with the Page of Pentacles reversed. You're considering maybe ending that relationship. Just know that don't think small and what could be potentially around the corner. Let's say you're choosing between two. This is the right one. The only reason why this wouldn't be the right one and this would be is extenuating circumstances. And I'm not getting that for this reading. You would have to weigh it out though, or get a reading to specifically figure out, like, is my circumstance potentially that this one wouldn't be the best one. Okay. What else? With you guys, I'm not really seeing that being single is in your energy field either, because if you are single, you are manifesting this, or you should be, like, that would be what's best for you right now in your life. Otherwise, I would get an indication that I would say something like, if you're with this, this would have been a totally different reading if this came out first. Let's just put it that way. And if these two came out together, but because this came out first, whole different vibe to it. All right, let's see what else we get. Full reversed, 3 of Swords and the Queen of Cups. Okay. This one, when coming up in a relationship reading, I don't like seeing it in general. So because it just means that you've got baggage that you're dealing with and have to deal with. which is fine. It's just that it's not ideal, obviously. However, some of you guys, I'm getting a message that you might be dealing with somebody else who has some baggage. Let's just say the King of Pentacles guy has some baggage to deal with. So that could be one of your extenuating factors. Or it could be just in general, like bringing mention to it. Like, yeah, they got these assets, but they have these deficits. This highly likely is a female, though, that is having this baggage. She is, let's just put this little, heart with the swords in it right in front of her, and that's what she's looking at. So she's mulling over the heartache and the heartbreak and the, so on. She's not taking the leap forward because of it. She's like not even there. Her emotions aren't going to let her. She's holding herself back. This could be somebody who's hung up on an ex and they are unwilling and unwanting to move forward. So if that's the case, self-recognize. Okay, I'm getting another indication of the same message with different cards. So it's further emphasizing that. I want to know, like I'm asking to be told if there's an additional message, or is it just as simple as that? Okay, so additional message, when we have the wheel reversed, I'm being drawn to pay attention to the books, and this would be a great time to do your self-work. I mentioned journaling, so that's high indication that would be good for you. Imagine with this Ace of Pentacles, the hand is holding a journal in their hand as opposed to the Pentacles. So we're talking about when you're not in your power of manifestation right now, changing that for yourself by doing some work. Sometimes look at the Queen of Swords, or just any queen in general, or any swords in general, as a pen as opposed to a sword, because the swords are about communication. And so pen to paper is highly likely to be beneficial for you in this journaling for dealing with past stuff. Same message again is coming up, actually, with 3 different cards. Somebody is looking at their past again. Here we go. Queen of Pentacles. She's looking down at this, which is reminiscing over the past, in a longing kind of way. And then you have the Judgment in reverse, which is like when the Fool was in reverse, saying this person isn't ready to take the leap. And here's why. For some of you, it's because you're hung up on a past thing, so you literally feel like you'd rather stay there in that. So that's not ideal for you, according to this reading. All right, so now we have the Knight of Cups, the King of Wands in the reverse, and 4 of Pentacles, because this is a relationship again. They're holding on to it. There is something about it being reversed, but I'm not getting what it is yet, being that there's an additional message because it is upside down. The King of Wands, I'm trying to determine, is it talking about you or... I think this is actually talking about pertaining to the baggage, like details pertaining to that situation. Okay, so this is your impression of that other situation, okay? But this is the reality of it. I don't want you to get caught up on the actual image per se, but just the idea of this is like that knight in shining armor, and this was the reality where they were in a reverse position. No matter what they were, being that it's reversed, it's like they couldn't give you this. This this is what they were on the outside. It's like in astrology where your sun sign is what you are on the outside. So they portrayed this. This is what they wanted you to think that they were. But in reality, when you take off that external shell, this is what they really were. And that's their moon sign, if you were to equate it to astrology. So their inner guts, if you peel off the external layer, was the King of Wands. Again, not getting caught up on the actual card, just the idea of what I'm explaining. And you holding on to what wasn't the reality. Not to say they couldn't be this. This is an aspect of them. This is them truly, but not. This is them when they go out into the real world, or when they're at their best, and when they're concentrating on being, showing their self at their shining best. But behind closed doors, or when they get comfortable with you and they feel like they can be who they really are, that's when this is the stuff that they're dealing with. So remember when I said don't get caught up on the card? Now I'm inviting you to get caught up on the card, in that look up the properties of the King of Wands in their reverse position and see what attributes that individual has, and ask yourself if that is stuff that they would need to deal with if they were actually dealing with themselves in a self improvement kind of way. Okay, so like I said, this is that holding on to what they were at their best, but not having recognized or admitted to yourself about, or even been aware of, that inner, like maybe you never got a chance to see it. All right, so now with new cards, we have the Page of Wands, the Two of Pentacles, and the Two of Cups in reverse. So this is indicating it could be a breakup, because for some of you, you might be wanting to break up and you're weighing the odds. So if that's the case, this is indicating that yes, you should do this. You should do so. If you are questioning, should I or shouldn't I, and this reading is ringing true for you, this is a confirmation that it is a yes for that question. If you are wondering if you should commit to someone, the answer is no. If you're wondering if you should get married at this time, the answer is no. What else? I'm just saying, like, if you're watching pile 1 and that was on your mind, the answer is no. The answer is not just no. Well, hold on, let me rephrase my intuition here. My what I was about to say was, it's not no, it's no because it's not the right person, but I'm not sure if I wanted to say that or not. That's because you would have to get a reading to determine if that applies to you, because it might or it might not, depending. Okay, some of you yes, some of you no. Okay, Emperor in the reverse with the Four of Wands and the Four of Swords. Because 2 4s came out together, that is significant. What we're talking about here, the Emperor being reversed, and especially being a major card, I'm getting a message of like, don't celebrate too early about something. Ooh, this is a very specific message I'm getting. I'm not sure how to word it. It's like saying, I've arrived, I accomplished this. And then later on, feeling stupid because now you have to take it back. And it's like embarrassing. Let's say, for example, you got engaged. and then you want to downgrade back to boyfriend, girlfriend. And you're like, man, I already told people we're engaged. It's like you're stuck in it kind of feeling. So you want to take it back, even to that person. You're like, God, it's like we decided this too quick. I don't even want to do this anymore. I might want to stay with the person, but I don't want to like have it at that next level yet. It feels more like an engagement being rescinded as opposed to somebody who's married and now wants a divorce. Because everything feels kind of like ho hum and copacetic, but not like fireworks and chemistry. So it's like, and there might be some issues as well with the emperor being reversed. It's like you're seeing issues with the other person, and that's one of the contributing factors as to why you're having this confliction. So now you're at the point where you're like, okay, how do I deal with this? How do I address this? Hermit reversed, Moon reversed, and then the Ace of Cups reversed. Two majors with an ace being reversed. Aces are usually the beginning of something. Well, Moon reverse is better in its reversed. This is somebody who wants. Man, hold on. This is a specific message too. So with my intuition, I kind of self-check. Do I want to say this exact thing? And if it doesn't feel like 100%, I'm like, okay, it's not that exactly. So what is this? With the Hermit reversed, with the Moon reversed, with the Cup. It's like snuffing something out. Keeping something down, keeping something at bay. The emotions, yeah, there we go. Bottling this up. It's like you've been keeping this to yourself for a long time and not sharing it. And so it's overdue for you to share this information, unfortunately, because it would have been better to have open communication all along. Might not even be your fault as to why it wasn't communicated. Like, let's say the other person, it's like every time you get around, like you're like gonna have this conversation, the other person, for whatever reason, it's just like it's not the right timing or something. So this is like saying, I am going to have this conversation. I'm actually going to do it. I have to do it. And then sticking to that. Because what might happen with this other person is it might be better to try to fix things as opposed to cutting it off completely. With the World reverse, Three of Cups upright, and Three of Wands reversed. Again, a 3 and a 3 like we had with the 4 and the 4. And the World being reversed, the World being yet another major card. So if the World's reversed, obviously that's not ideal. The Three of Cups is that celebration, and the Three of Wands is that like planning and taking, like you're on your way. So this could even be somebody who has started doing wedding planning, and you've like actually invested into it. You've made invitations. This would be a really big deal for you to call off. But would you rather call it off and detach now, or wait until later, and with the Empress being the very last card, have a kid or something with this person, buy a house, have a kid, get a minivan, blah blah blah, and then later having to deal with this? It'd be better to do it now, because and your shadow card is the King of Cups, but it was in the reverse. When I say shadow, it's like a message that's hidden to you. If you're with somebody look at the attributes of the King of Cups in the reverse and see if those apply to you. Anyways, that's it. I gotta go. You get the idea, and if you have any questions, hit me up. Hey, for you pile one people, I just wanted to show you really quick. My card of the day is actually the King of Wands reverse. And then as I was shuffling with preparation to just come on here and say that little last part, the Six of Cups came out, like flew out, and it was in the reverse position again. So definitely look and see if somebody that is from your past that's still affecting you has the qualities and characteristics of that King of Wands reverse, because that's kind of, significant that I'm still being drawn to that message. So yeah, just wanted to give you that little extra part. Hello, pile 2. Let's get to your love relationship reading. Let's see what we get for you. Okay. Shadow card is the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. So if you're a female, that's probably talking about you. Right away, we're coming up with thoughts, potentially communication. Not sure which one yet, just throwing some stuff out there before I get specific messages. But when the Three of Swords comes out, it's not one you want to see when you're checking into love and relationships. The Two of Swords is talking about you trusting your intuition. So in this context, if there's something that you are dealing with that is like a stab in the heart kind of thing, and you're thinking about it in a certain way, this is confirmation that the way you're thinking about it is 100%. Especially with the Magician coming out, that's showing that you are, even with this card coming out, if this is like you're dealing with your own stuff, you're definitely able to, like, you have the skills and the tools within yourself to be able to handle this like a pro. So let's say you're faced with heartache. You know how to get out of your funk, you know how to think about things, like you got your head on straight in regards to your emotions. You have a handle on it. So there's no real advice for you. It's more confirmation that that whatever's going on with you with love and relationships, either currently or in the past, or even stuff that might come up for you, you're right about it. You got it. You're good. Okay, let's see what else. All right, so now we have some characters with the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles coming out. We're talking about two different people. The Knight of Pentacles is somebody who likes to take their time with things. Like they'd like to see a relationship develop over time. This might be you. It might not be talking about two people for you. I'm kind of getting like you're the Knight of Pentacles. Whether you're a male or female, irrelevant. It's the characteristics of the card that I'm being drawn to. Yeah, like I'm gonna talk about it like the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles are one person. It's a very balanced dynamic. The Queen of Pentacles, I mean, sorry, did I say Pentacles earlier? The Queen of Cups is in this message of love and relationships in this pile. She's coming across to me as somebody who is very in check with her emotions, or should I say their emotions if you're a male. They're a deep thinker. They're very intuitive. They're very spirit led, open minded to matters of spirit. They catch on to it very quickly. Did I say deep thinkers? I know I did. I'm saying it again. And so when you combine it with the Knight of the Pentacles, who follows their intuition, to a T. Not always. I'm just saying for this reading and for this message, for this pile. The Knight of Pentacles is somebody who literally puts their intuition in front of them and then just follows it everywhere it goes. All the while doing that deep thinking and reflecting. They have no problem taking the long way home. In fact, they enjoy it. They like traveling, like they like being in their vehicle by themselves, reflecting, thinking, listening to music. Just, they don't necessarily like traffic. I'm talking about myself here. I'm talking about myself when I like, sometimes I don't do this anymore, but I used to like just kind of go on night drives. And, you know, I like driving under certain circumstances. I don't want to just, I don't like driving just for the sake of driving. Anyways, that's completely irrelevant. I just went on a tangent. Point of my story is this person, if you know that's you, if that's you. Okay. Now, however, we have the Five of Pentacles coming out reversed. And we're sometimes when that card comes out, it's talking about money, but not in this reading unless it's relevant to your situation. Because, we're talking about love and relationships, but sometimes, a lot of times, finances can be a portion of it, or, a something that has to be dealt with potentially in a negative way. Let's just put it that way. In this reading, it's coming up for me as spirituality. So what it's saying, though, I'm not really clear on as to. I'm kind of waiting for a message in regard to it. There's a lot of potentials, but I want to say, like, it's like something really specific. Reflecting is key. Reflecting on what, though? You reflecting on. I mean, easy message is manifestation. Like, what do I really want? And like redefining things for yourself and making changes based on that reflection. I'm getting a message of empathy being needed. Empathy toward others. Maybe you're really good at it in general, but it needs to be mentioned for some reason. Maybe empathy of yourself. Maybe you've been kind of hard on yourself, or, the idea of you're your own worst critic. You're sitting here going over your own past stuff, but it's not helpful to you. It's like, stop beating yourself up or being hard on yourself for the past, because it's literally holding you back and it's slowing up progress. But yeah, if this is characteristic in somebody else that you might potentially meet, like, let's say you're single and you're looking and you meet somebody who wants to take it slow. They don't want to rush into things, and you're gonna be met with resistance if you aren't like this person I described, and you do like tend to rush into things. This isn't gonna work, because you're just gonna clash. If you let them lead it, then you might be that might bring up stuff in you that might trigger you, or you have to work through. But you're definitely going to have the time to do so because of how slow they move things. Yeah, so if you have insecurity issues, they're definitely going to be triggered here. But remember what I first said is about, if you're thinking about something being a certain way, you're spot on with it. That is the case in certain circumstances, but in other ones, you have the potential to perhaps be like overthinking it, or thinking it's one way and it's not, but it's based on insecurity. If you're thinking of something and it's fear based and it's not based on reality, don't go with that thought, unless you have a real strong reason to go there. Um, Use your communication skills, because you're not expected to be a mind reader, and neither is the other person. So having real good open communication is going to be important for you. And not holding on to your feelings, also being authentic. So when I say holding on to your feelings, I actually mean more like not burying them, not closing yourself off, being defensive. Those are some things that might be coming up for you, that you need to work through, or that you're working on, or that you have worked through. And or in the other person, and they trigger you. It depends. I'm not getting a clear indication on with you guys if there's mirroring or triggering going on. Not getting any clear indication if it's a karmic situation or not. No cards are telling me that just yet. If so, I will let you know, though. Let's see what else we have. You have a tendency, or the other person does. See, because it depends on if there's mirroring going on. You both do. And you got to self-check, is this me or is this the other person with the stuff I'm saying? Okay, so a self, or a tendency to, what is it? Be passive aggressive, to be defensive, to, there's like a lot of specific little things, like somebody in a relationship does something that bothers you. You have a tendency to, or they, be a certain way, instead of just being like, hey, this bothers me. It's like you want to retaliate in a petty way. It's like pettiness. So an element of immaturity, as far as you might be really strong as a person, but then you have, when you get into a relationship, there's still growing to do. Especially frustrating if this isn't you, but this is the other person. So they might have some growing to do, and you're just like seeing it for what it is, and that's where the empathy would come in. Okay, it's like saying, I am where I am in my journey. You are where you are. I recognize that, and like being the bigger person. Got the Hangman in reverse here. In regard to that message, yeah, that's the whole, yeah, okay, I already said it. Just wanted to make sure. All right, past stuff is now coming up. It's indicating you had to leave a situation. If it's in the upright, somebody might have left you because they had to, but they didn't want to. Somebody might have left you, or you might have left somebody. I should say it both ways, honestly, because this is definitely possible. You or the other person might have had to leave when you didn't want to, and in a fast way too. It's like, oh, everything was going great, then all of a sudden, either you or they bounced out, ghosted. It's coming up. It's not saying what to do with it, or how it affects you. It's just that it's a factor, something that's like still needing to be addressed. Because I mean, easy message off the top is just like, don't expect that's gonna happen again. Like don't be like, let it trigger your abandonment issues or something. Deal with abandonment issues and do work on them as to addressing them and stuff. Queen of Wands reversed with the Lovers and the Ace of Pentacle reverse. 3 reverse cards, so a block. There's a block. Have you ever been like, what is it with me in relationships? Like, and you're like, it's got to be something about me. Have you ever said that? Because if so, this is validating. This is, whatever I'm about to say is your message. Have you ever heard the idea that you always choose the same person over and over again, even if they're different people and they appear different at first, but then they kind of turn into that same kind of person. But that's like until you break that karmic imprint or something. I'm saying or something. Like I haven't necessarily heard it the way I just said it with the karmic imprint, but point of my story is that's what I'm seeing is going on here. Is that if you're looking for someone, you might potentially manifest somebody who's going to bring up abandonment issues for you, which is why you need to deal with them. Or any other karmic stuff that for example, then it would be easy to say your next partner or your current one might be a karmic partner because there's lessons to be learned still. You also could tend to be somebody who is a helper in that you might not necessarily have this stuff that you need to work on. There's the empathy part. It's the other person who might. And so you might manifest a relationship who needs help evolving, and you're the conduit for that happening. You can choose not to do that, by the way. If you meet somebody and they seem like a project, you don't have to sign on to that. And I highly suggest you don't. Pile 2. I'm not feeling like that's something that you should take on at this time, because it's going to hold you back from doing your best contribution. Like, that's you helping one person, and you are meant for greater. So you'd be better off being single than signing on for a project person. You'd be better off being alone, working on abandonment issues and codependency stuff. You'd be better off dating casually also, is what I'm seeing here. Nothing serious, nothing to commitment, just like keeping your options open, unless just doing what serves you and being kind of selfish in that way. Not selfish like in a negative way, but just putting your own needs first. But you have to have that open and clear communication. And if the other person isn't understanding that you need that openness, you need that freedom, because if you're the Knight of Pentacles who likes to play things really slow, and the other person has insecurity issues, that's what I mean by project. You don't got time for that. So be like, hey, just want to let you know, you got some jealousy and insecurity issues. Bye. But I did want to let you know. So yeah, there's that one. Love and relationship. What are you trying to tell me? Not stuck. Not. Okay, so looking at the past mistakes. I don't know if it's that. It's like bringing up again the repeat message of a past thing. This could be, okay. This is why I'm confused, because there's a lot of things that could be, and I'll just say them real quick. It could be somebody who has passed, so you might have been left, and this might be separate from the other message, like it feels separate, but for some of you, you might have been left because they passed over. For some of you, so when I said they ghosted you, I mean like in a literal sense. Some of you might have been divorced, and that's what it's talking about, which is like a karmic death, if you think about it that way. The contract is severed between you and this other person, and it can be very freeing, but it can also come with some downsides where you're dealing with the guilt, the remorse, how did you contribute to it? How could you have done things better? I'm such a failure, that kind of stuff is showing up. Like taking it all on yourself, being, there's a you're the kind of person who really will just take everything on yourself when not all of it is your fault. So you gotta, if it's in the past, like just say, I'm not gonna dwell on that anymore. Like you gotta keep your head forward, and you gotta keep moving forward and think, what is the best potential for me, and then go with it. Like understand that you're not who you were in the past, so you don't have to hold on to that anymore. It's not you anymore. The person who made those mistakes has hindsight now, so you wouldn't make those mistakes again. Therefore, it did its purpose. If other people were hurt because of them, make amends with them. If you think, like, it's really hard for people to say sorry sometimes, so say to the other person, I recognize that I did this, and I just wanted to apologize for that because I realized that it hurt you, or whatever. Okay. Nine of Cups reversed with the Queen of Swords, and the Two of Cups reversed is that whole breaking of a contract thing. So some of you might be dealing with divorce. Yeah. The wishes unfulfilled, breaking of a contract with harsh words. She's got the knife hand. She's like, or sometimes she's like, are you serious? But in this context, she's just like, boop. So it's definitely piggybacking on the last thing I said, with additional message just of, if you're dealing with that, that's confirmation that you're making the right decision. Or if you were thinking of it, it's confirmation that is correct for you to do so. Especially if everything else I'm saying is like spot on. Okay. With the Page of Wands and the Nine of Swords, and then we have a major in between, which is in this spread, the High Priestess. So we're talking about being in your intuition, like being like the same message of the Knight of Pentacles in this reading. But I am getting something different for her too, like different than that, her traditional meaning. What is this? Still like kind of the element of holding yourself back. This isn't really love and relationship related per se, what I'm about to say, but starting projects and not finishing them, or you'll think of something really great but you won't actually go forward with it. Keeping stuff to yourself instead of trying to actually get it going. things like that. That's not it though. That's one thing. What are you trying to say here? With the Nine of Swords. I'm just so drawn to that. Which typically I'll be like, sleep issues, anxiety, stress, over worrying, thinking too much about something. It is overthinking. Okay, there we go. Following your head and not your intuition. I don't know if you've done that. I don't know if you're doing that. It's just saying don't do that. Follow your intuition and not your head. Okay. Karmic. So, if you want a partner, if you want to bring somebody in, I gave a message in the pile 1 at the beginning that is relevant to you guys. I don't really want to repeat it, but I'll just say very quickly, generally. A partner is potential for you that it is very affluent and will treat you well, will wine and dine you, will it's like a very good for you thing. Don't screw it up. And don't not take it. Whatever might hold you back from either allowing it and accepting it, or from, and you have tendency to self-sabotage things. Don't do that. Time frame of fall. Okay, so like less than a year from now, you could potentially be living a really nice life with lots of money and opportunities, but it might require you gotta look at where you're at right now and think, like, is that even a possibility for me? Because being that this is a love and relationship reading, if you're with somebody that you don't really see that could happen within the next year, then that's not the person. Okay, here's the deal. Where's my phone? I want to read you something, and I'm like, where is my phone? I'm gonna go on Facebook. I'm gonna go to my page, my New Path Tarot page. Okay, and I'm going to look for an article that I posted today, not too long ago, and I'd love for you to read it, because I'm not going to read it to you. Maybe I will. Okay, I wrote, New Path Tarot said, Happy V-Day, aka Pagan Breakup Day. This is a very good read, so you'll see it on there on my posts. Right under that, I have another article that says, The Truly Anti-Love Holiday, The Pagan Origins of Valentine's Day. I highly recommend you read that one too. I want you to really think about this. What do you believe is true about love and relationships? I also want to show you this image real quick. One of my friends posted this today, and I like it. I really love to think about the idea of Cupid. The idea of Cupid shooting an arrow, and that arrow having, like, I don't poison, but something on it that makes this person fall in love with another person. I want you to think about that for a minute. And this being Cupid with a crossbow, he's looking down at the city of people. And man, I think, would you agree, sometimes Cupid has really bad aim? That's an aside, because The article that I want to show you is it's better to be single than fight for the wrong relationship. Really good read. Here's the point. When you go through it, I want you to go through it and think, because okay, fuck it, I'm just gonna read it because I want you to feel it. Okay, it's better to be single than to fight for the wrong relationship, to fight for the wrong person, to fight for the wrong love. It's better to be single than to remain with the wrong someone simply because you have history with them, because you're used to them, because you cannot picture a world without them. It's better to be single than to pour all of your effort into a relationship you know isn't working, a relationship you know is making you unhappy, a relationship you know is meant to be left in your past. It's better to be single than to stubbornly continue dating someone who isn't giving you everything you need, someone who is beneath your standards, someone who is never going to treat you the way you deserve. It is better to be single than to ignore the warning signs, to pretend everything is perfectly fine, to act like this is only a small bump along the road when really you've been having the same problems for a while now. It is better to be single than to cling to a relationship out of fear of being alone, out of fear you aren't going to find anyone else meant for you, out of fear you wasted so many years of your life on the wrong person, out of fear of starting over again, dating again, being on your own again. It's better to be single than to act like you're happy in your current situation, to act like you aren't interested in a change, to act like you're perfectly fine with being the person who does all the work, who carries all the weight. It's better to be single than to accept your unhappiness as the norm, to accept that this is as good as it's going to get, to accept the unfair treatment you've been getting, even though you've been giving nothing but respect. It's better to be single than to settle for a relationship that just isn't working, to settle for a person who just isn't the right fit for you, to settle for a love that just isn't what you imagined. It's better to be single than to spend your time wiping away tears, to spend your time screaming through arguments, to spend your time wondering whether you're the problem, whether you are unlovable, whether you should be doing something differently. It's better to stay single than to lie to yourself about your happiness, to lie to yourself about your feelings, to lie to yourself about whether this is what you really want. It's better to be single than to force a relationship to work, to force your person to pay attention to you, to force yourself to believe everything is going to turn out okay. It's better to be single than to fight for the wrong relationship because you're only prolonging the inevitable. Deep down, you know you aren't supposed to end up together. You know love isn't supposed to be this difficult. You know you're better off apart. All right. Guess what? What does that mean if you're married? You know, like that's the hard part, is when you're married to somebody and that realization kicks in and you're just like, crap, oh, I screwed up. So you get to that point, and if you're the one who realizes it first, then you're the bad guy, and you're all like, then you're prolonging it and all that fun stuff, and it's not fun, but you get my point. That's the thing. If you are in a relationship, okay, and then there's all these other entanglements and factors, okay, because you do have within a year potential to have great abundance with a person that provides that for you and with you, like a cohabitative, collective, equal type of thing. Like, I see you guys doing something together that will be really profitable and really fun. Really, like if me saying that kind of stuff feels light and nice to you, then that's telling you something. if you don't know who that person is, that's fine. I'm just saying it's like there. And if you're not with that person that you can do that with, and then I read that article to you and that's ringing true to you, you get what I'm saying? You got to live your life. You heard what I said earlier. Okay? And that, so there's the Ace of Wands. That's my card of the week. And the Knight of Cups coming out reverse, honestly, to me, dead message. I'm not getting anything for it. It's like, to me, it feels like an extra card. So, just for you guys, because you're special, I didn't do this with group one. I'm going to pull a card from another card deck and see what we get. Okay? If anything, I might get a dead card where it doesn't feel like anything. If that's the case, then fine. But if we get something, then we do. Let's see if I can just give you one last smidgen of something to go on. And I really want to impress to everybody in this world the importance of being able to get your own intuitive messages. That's why I talk about it a lot. It's like I explain, this is what I'm doing and this is how to do it, because I provide a service when I do a reading for somebody in that I'm completely unbiased and that I have a certain set of skills that I have developed over time. But all in all, I live my life day to day without doing readings for myself. In fact, I have a really hard time doing readings for myself because I'm biased. Like, if I were to do a relationship reading and stuff for myself, I'd be like second guessing everything. Well, you guys somehow have to start developing your skills, and the easiest way to do it is to read for yourself. So there's that. Forgiveness is what came out. Okay. So let's say this is something from your past that you still need to deal with. Let's say it's something from your current that you still need to deal with. The article still is 100% truth. Like, please understand. Do you realize how much you hold yourself back if you stay in a relationship that does not serve you? And it's selfish to do so. It's selfish because the other person, if you are intuitive enough to know that you two shouldn't be together anymore and you stay together, you're being selfish. Because that person, despite whatever resistance, I've said this before and I'll say it again, would be better served by being, going through and experiencing that. So it's not easy to do because of how modern society encourages getting married and blah blah, especially when there's young ones involved. That's always like the hardest. I wouldn't tell you something that I wouldn't do myself or haven't done myself. I have done this several times. I have left relationships that are, it's like I could have written that article, honestly. I really could have, because despite it's like the very day I would realize that, there's no going back. Once I like put my foot down and I go, the article, without having had the article, then I have to start planning and going, I know this is dead. This is dead. Damn it, this is dead. And then I gotta deal with my crap. Like, okay, what did I do? How did I get myself here? What am I doing? What did I think? What was I thinking? Blah, blah, blah. And it's so hard to explain to the other person, like, hey, look, I'm a spiritual person, which makes me kind of weird because I think about things in a totally different way. and we have run our end of the road together, and I'm sure there's somebody that's great for you out there in the world, but I'm not that person. I can't give you what you deserve to have, because we're just, we're dead. We're not growing. We're never gonna grow. You're not. I know it. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? It's a heavy thing to deal with. It really is. That's how this world is. It makes everything so like you're with this person until death do us part, and it's like that's a long time. Called, if they don't say you're with this person until you don't mutually like, if I were gonna write vows, that article would probably be my vows. Honestly, straight up. Like, okay, hey, guess what? We're not working anymore. This isn't working. Everybody says marriage is hard work. I don't know if that should be that way. Honestly, I think if you're really working hard, that it's not right anymore. You know what I'm saying here? It's it's like, I'm not saying there aren't things that work hard, but I'm saying if you know when you know. There's no other way that if your intuition is even 10%, then you know when it's that time. All right, so I'm sorry if that was depressing for you guys. I am, but let me just say one last thing, okay? If I had Angie back in years ago when I was dealing with this stuff, oh, I would have saved myself so much. Like, we're talking hindsight to the hilt. I could have saved myself so much crap. But I had to learn it the hard way. I had to learn it the really hard way. So, but once you realize and you stop the pattern, then you're free to have greatness. It's like you're first breaking the bonds of your parents' imprints, and then you're breaking the, and I wouldn't say then, but you're also breaking the bonds of societal imprints, and you're breaking your own beliefs and biases. And then one day, once you figured all that out, and you step back as an observer and you say, "This is what I believe to be true," then you're ready to find somebody that like is where you're at now. But notice I said where you're at now. That doesn't mean that's going to be forever either. And when you have two people who are on that same kind of page, who are both, because that's what you'll manifest next. Is you'll manifest somebody who's on your same page, who says, like, that's what was one of the really good things about my boyfriend, is that he and I both were the same way. We were both like, we are two kinds of people who think about things the same way, that like marriage, institutionalized marriage, and being like committed like in that kind of way, and all this kind of thing. He said to me, like, I think marriage should be, what did he say? I think he said like marriage should be every 5 years or something, and then you can decide if you want to stay married or part ways, because then nobody gets complacent, and also if you outgrow the relationship you can go your separate ways. And I was like, I love that idea. All right, the countdown starts now. Because and we're both like that still. It's like the door is right there, and if you don't like something, bye bye. And I have learned, like, I was like, you are my karmic pattern stopping point. I'm not getting married. I am not committing to you more than just like, what we're doing in life. I was like, I defined my own relationship rules and boundaries and all that stuff. You will not find my relationship in somebody else unless they happen to have the same exact things. There are certain assumptions when you get into a relationship where you assume we meet, we date, we're committed, we're together forever. And if we break up, it's because we couldn't fix our shit and we failed as people. And it's not like that. If it were generally understood that sometimes you part ways because the article, as opposed to you get in a relationship with somebody and it's like you're expected to make it work or else you're a failure. Like, well, who caused the breakup? No, we actually just decided to part ways mutually. You hardly would ever hear that because it's not like a normal thing. And then the idea of, do you know how freeing it is to say, we're not like bound to each other to the point where I don't know how to explain this part. Like, it's like, I don't want to say open relationship because that's too cliche, or like, we don't, if you have the freedom to be able to be in an open relationship but you don't act on it, that's kind of like the vibe I'm trying to portray here, because that makes you not feel trapped. You're so trapped if you don't have that clause in your agreement where you're like, look, we're committed to each other, we have very open communication. However, if in the future something were to develop or present itself, we will revisit our agreement and we will put an addendum or something like that. If you get what I'm saying, it's really hard to do that with either A, somebody who isn't on your level in that way, or B, somebody who you're already been with and you've been a certain way, so there's this expectation that it's going to keep going that way. If so some people, like, I've done tarot readings for people in relationships, and I've said to them, let's say for example, a woman, I'll give you a few different examples because they're all like equally relevant to this, where I would say the same thing to each of these situations. One, she'd say, there's this guy at work I'm interested in, but I'm married. My answer back is your significant other open to seeing other people? No. Okay, now we got to go from there. I had one who said, you know what? I never asked them, or I've never thought about that. Because what happened in her situation was pretty cool, actually. So she had a guy she was interested in, and her husband had a girl that he was interested in. And she was sitting here going, how do I tell him that I want to leave him for this other person? And I'm like, wait, hold on. You're telling me he has somebody he's interested in, you know about it and you're fine with it, and you have somebody you're interested in, you know about it and you're fine with it, and you guys are wanting to maybe like leave each other? But the way that she described their relationship, it was like a really good relationship, and I'm just like, why don't you guys just have an open relationship? And she's just like, oh my god, I didn't even think of that. So, and then what was the other one? Yeah, but I usually get more no's than yeses. No, he would never go for that. And I'm just like, okay. Well, now we got to figure some things out, because the article, here, read this. I'm going to start doing that. And if that applies to you, then I'm asking you something really big, which is ending your relationship. Another example, I had a lady who there was domestic violence. I will never, ever in a million years tell you to stay in a relationship where there is domestic violence. And I hate how society makes it seem like you're supposed to stay in a marriage till death do us part. I'm sorry, but you're not supposed to stay in a relationship where you're being harmed physically, emotionally, mentally, you know? What else do I say about it? And this lady was like in her 70s, and they had been living together for like 30 something years. And her mentality, she's so broken, she's so defeated, she's so dispirited that she's like, I might as well just stay in it at this point because I've done it for this long. It's too hard. I'm not strong enough to start over. For her, it wasn't about being in a good relationship. It was about, how do I, at my age, move on my own and be independent and all this stuff when we've been together for like 35 years, we own a house together, you know, blah, blah, blah. And this domestic violence has been going on that long, and you're going to tell me, you're going to expect me to tell you how to fix your relationship? I'm not. I'm not telling you to fix your domestic violence relationship where you're getting physically hurt. I will not. I don't care what your circumstance and your situation is. You've got to get out of it, because one day you're going to get out of it in a different way, and you're not going to be around to tell me about it. You get what I'm saying? So, did I like, are you even listening? Are you even here? Probably not. I just do feel like for some reason your group, I have to say something else, and I don't know what the heck it is. I don't like to sit here and like go on and on for life. Let's use this card deck. Let's see. You guys are getting special stuff. Everything is in perfect balance. If in a relationship, that's exactly what you want. What can you let go of? Love and relationship reading. Is it talking about you, or is it talking about a relationship? You know, letting go of a relationship. And last but not least, reveal your gifts. Was that you? You got gifts? No, or was it? See, I've been talking now for so long that I have no idea what the heck I did an hour ago. You know, like what I talked about or whatever. So, use your gifts, okay? Because I did go on that tangent as well about living intuitively. I feel like you guys have a big task ahead of you, but you can do it, okay? You're a strong, independent woman. You don't need no man or something. Okay. Peace. Hello, pile 3. Welcome to your love and relationship reading. Let's see what we have for you today. Today happens to be Valentine's Day. For you guys, 6 of Wands is your shadow card. I'm going to put it to the side. 6 of Wands reverse. I might reference that. We'll see. Anywho, being that it's Valentine's Day, by the time you watch this, it probably won't be anymore. That's fine. But I do want to tell you that I read an article today, which was pretty cool, that talked about Valentine's Day actually started as a pagan holiday that was about breaking up with your long-term boyfriends. So if you're interested in reading that article, I have it on my page, New Path Tarot. You can look down at my past posts and you'll see a link to the article. But it's a really interesting and cool and good read as to how it has turned into what is now the holiday of love. It used to be about breakups. I didn't say that in pile 1, and I didn't say that in pile 2. Let me see if I was intuitively guided to say it just for pile 3. Like, you guys are a special bunch who got to hear that message. Because if you look at the article, it's really funny as to why you give flowers on Valentine's Day. It's almost like a superstition where if you didn't, you would get epilepsy. Isn't that weird? Super weird. Okay, it says it in there. It's a historical fact. Anyways, Ace of Cups reversed with the Nine of Wands reversed with the Six of Cups reversed. And then you had the Six of Wands reversed. Why is everything reversed? Well, with the Six of Cups reversed, we're talking about an ex. Okay? We're talking about an old pattern of behavior. You might have the tendency to be paranoid about relationships. Kind of like every relation. This would be a classic example. Every one of my exes has cheated on me. So you expect you're always going to be cheated on. Or like your next will cheat on you, or your current will cheat on you. Well, that's going to cause problems because you're going to always be like insecure, jealous perhaps, or just in general like accusing them or expecting it, and that's going to cause problems. So if you're already doing that, don't be like that. Now, other possibility when I do these readings is somebody might be doing that to you, and if that's the case, tell them to knock it the hell off, because it's really annoying, especially if you've never done that before, you haven't done anything warranting it, that kind of thing. It's very annoying to be accused of cheating when you're not cheating. And I've said it before in situations where I've been accused and it never happened. I said, you know what, I might as well do it if you're going to accuse me of it, because you're treating me like it already happened. So I'm not getting any fun. Why don't I just do it? All right, you guys, we are talking about cheating here. Or being reversed, we're talking about, that's not the, no. I didn't get this card for one or two, and I was talking about it before it came out. Okay? Some of you, that is true, that there is no cheating going on, but it's being accused, or it's an element of, past is coming up to haunt, or there's just something going on with cheating that is a factor for pile 3 people. If that doesn't ring true for you, then this might not be your reading. But let's see about that part. The first thing I said about the paranoid part, if that's not you or the other person, might not be your reading. Okay, so if you have paranoia and cheating type themes, not only is this your reading, but anything I say with it is highly likely to be relevant to you. Okay. Honestly, I'm going to say it straight the hell up. If you picked pile 3 and there is no paranoia and there is no elements of cheating in your relationship or with you that you're dealing with, like past hurts that you have to process and everything, you might as well stop the reading. I'm just going to say this is only for people that fits with, because it's just too specific with this card coming out for it not to be relevant. Okay, I don't want you to waste your time. So what does that mean if you picked 3? I'll tell you. If you picked 3, you're like, I already stopped watching. Ooh, they're gone. No, if you picked 3 and it doesn't apply to you, I just want to say very quickly, I love teaching about tools to use intuition. Therefore, if you're wondering, well, I picked 3, well, maybe you just needed to hear something about it and that's it. Or possibly, maybe it's just showing you how, I don't know. Let's just say it very simply. Maybe you just needed to hear something I said about it, okay? Goodbye. Okay, everybody else, here we go. All right, let's say we're going to get really nitty-gritty here, you guys. Okay? If this is your reading, then hear me out. Are you weighing between 2 people? Are you in a relationship with one and you're interested in another? Or do you have 2 people that you're considering between? Like you're not committed to either and you're just like weighing the odds? Do you have somebody from your past that you're still thinking of? And you have somebody new that you're thinking of. And there's more options too. But the theme is weighing between two people. Okay? Highly likely you're a female because it's showing you weighing between two males, meaning that one's a knight and one's a king. But, all in all, it's not. It's like these are the cards that gave me the message. The gender isn't as important on the cards. It was just like it needed to portray to me. And you notice I keep doing this? This card is literally doing that. Like, you're just like pros and cons, yes and no, this and that, All right, let's see what else we get. Because it's not telling me if you're weighing between two people, which one to choose. It's just saying, like, this is a thing. Okay, so now we have, this is a really easy message. If one of them doesn't bring you excitement, they aren't the one. Here's the deal. For 1 and 2, especially 1, I went on this tangent about pick a person who has like money. I'll just sum it up as that. And it was because that's what was coming up in the cards. It was like, don't settle, don't have low expectations, whatever, in regards to that. You deserve that kind of thing. Your message, I'm actually getting, choose happiness over benefits kind of thing. And this is a love message, but it can relate to career for this analogy, where pick a job you'd enjoy doing as opposed to a job that has better benefits. So you can relate that to it. I'm talking about pick the person you have more chemistry with, more sexual attraction and cohesion. The person that inspires you and ignites you and makes you feel butterflies in the stomach and keeps you on your toes, makes you want to be a better person, all that stuff. If you're not with that person, but there's somebody that you know of that is that person, there you go. You already know. You're supposed to pick the person that's bringing that for you, okay? That's giving you that motivation. All right. Ooh, heavy stuff. Because we have the 10 of Swords, which are the swords in the back. It's in its reverse. We have the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. And then the 5 of Swords in the upright. And 5 of Swords is also that kind of card that it's like, I'll just show you the card imagery so you get the vibe of it, I feel like this guy who has this smug ass face is the one who did this. So I want you to think about that for a second as I'm trying to figure out what it's trying to say. Because I feel like this is something done to you. Especially since the topic of cheating is relevant. If you've been cheated on, that person did that to you. If they cheated on you like behind your back without being like open communication with you and all that. Missed opportunity. Stabbed in the back. Betrayal. Straight up betrayal. With missed opportunity. This is a really particular message, and I'm not really picking up on it, because those two things, it's like I'm trying to link them together because they are related. Because this happened, there was a missed opportunity. Let's say this is the analogy, or this is the scenario that I keep getting shown. So I'm going to explain it to you. You have a husband and a wife who, she has no idea that behind her back he's emotionally cheating on her by texting this girl from work all the time. And so his wife, she is at home taking care of the kids and taking care of the home, and she's like wondering why her husband is so distant from her, and she's like internalizing it, making it about her, and wondering like, and she's like trying to improve herself and be appealing to him, to no avail. And he won't sleep with her, you know. Now he's not actually cheating on her physically. He has not done anything with this woman at work. There's been no physical contact. It's just flirtiness at work and stuff like that, and then texting. Well, somewhere in there, I'm seeing the missed opportunity for her. She's the one. And so now it's time to get real with yourself. If you're the one who was the cheater, it's time to, like, you know, own up to it, kind of thing. This is where apologies should be made to the person that you hurt. For some of you, you might not have any proof that somebody is cheating on you or not. This would be a high indication that that could be going on, but it might not be physical cheating. It could just be emotional cheating. But that's like, if you call a man on it and say, hey, look, this relationship you have with this other person is technically cheating, it's emotional cheating, they might not have ever heard of it. So, you know, you would have to do this thing where you explain to them and say, like, because you might know about it. You might know, like, they're texting this other person all the time. Even if it's platonic, this is a gray area, because if they have a best friend that they tell everything to, but then you two don't have that kind of relationship, then, because ideally you want to be in a relationship with somebody who's your best friend. That's the ideal. So if you're not getting that from each other and you're fine with it, that's one thing. But if you're feeling that disconnect, that's another thing. So everybody and everybody's circumstances is different. But there is that. I had a lady I did a reading for who, she had an ex that they shared a dog. They didn't have a kid together, but they had a dog together. And they literally co-parented this dog even after they broke up. It was so cute sounding to me. I'm like, wait, you guys like have a parenting schedule for your dog? And she's like, yeah, you know, he gets him on Christmas and I get him, you know. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is so cute. Well, here's the problem. She has a boyfriend now who does not freaking like this. It was great when she was single, but the new boyfriend is like, okay, wait a minute. You're still in contact with your ex to the point where, like, you guys go to lunch together, da 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 da. And I said to her, I was like, okay, real talk. Are you still into your ex? Like, do you want to be with him? And she's like, no. Like, no, no, no. I'm like, and you recognize that your current partner is not okay with your relationship with your ex, correct? And she's like, yes. I said, well, guess what? You have a choice. You can either keep doing what you're doing with your ex and detach from the boyfriend and say, I'd rather do this, and wait for a boyfriend who is fine with this, or just be single. Or you can stop what you're doing with the ex and be with the boyfriend. And you can figure out arrangements for the dog, but like your relationship where you're like texting each other and calling each other, because she'll like call him on her ride home from work and they'll BS together, and she's like, he's my best friend. But the relationship itself didn't work out, you know. So she sits here and she goes, you know what? I'm fine being single. I don't even like the guy I'm with. I'm like, well, then drop him. Wouldn't you rather have like your best friend and your whole little cute dog situation than be committed to a guy who you feel limited and you feel like you can't call your best friend and, you know, all this kind of stuff? So there's that. Time to break out of societal boxes. Okay, we got to think outside the box here with relationships. Ace of Swords reversed, with the Six of Swords reversed, with the Three of Wands reversed. Leaving a relationship that you didn't want to, somebody leaving you and you didn't want them to leave you. And how do you deal with that? Okay. If you left a relationship and you didn't want to, and it was because the other person wasn't who you needed or what you needed, you win. So view it that way. Change of perspective. I didn't get the Hanged Man, which is change of perspective, to validate that with cards, which would have been really cool. But I'm telling you, change of perspective is needed with if you left somebody because they just weren't the right fit for you. Okay? However, if they left you, and they might not have wanted to leave you, but they did for whatever, for some kind of reason, and you didn't want them to leave you, then guess what? Making peace with it, but let's see something else. And I don't want to speak too soon. Okay, I'll just say it like this. Some of you, because it's not all of you, some of you might actually have an opportunity to rekindle somebody from the past, and it would be a good idea to. Not always the case. Some people say never ever ever get back with an ex. Some people say, I don't know, something else. But I'll say this: never ever ever say never ever ever. There's always gray areas. There's always exceptions apply. Fine print, things like that. So with you guys, if you have, like the story I shared about the lady with the dog sharing situation, if you have an ex that you would see yourself being with again, for whatever reason it didn't work out, and you can see it in the future, and you're the one who's in a position to pursue that, don't be afraid to do that. Okay? Here's your permission slip for that one. Now, that's just some of you. Others of you, so this is a very interesting message. I don't want to skip this one, so I'm not going to cover it up because there might be something more there. But this one, which you can't see, but okay, this one is saying if you are supporting somebody physically, like monetarily, cut them off because they're leeching you. They're literally sucking you dry. They're a mooch. What are they doing? They need to stop that. If you're that person, you need to stop that. I've had people I do a reading for who they don't work. They don't need to work because their husband works. They don't care. And I'm just like, wow, that must be nice. I would love to be that or do that. I would love to have that situation. But this isn't saying that. This isn't the Nine of Pentacles reversed. Or this isn't the Nine of Pentacles because it's reversed. This is the Four of Pentacles with the Two of Wands reversed with the Six of Pentacles. So I'm saying this isn't that Nine of Pentacles. If you have that, great, go for it. But you or the other person mooching off somebody else, bleh, coming up in your reading saying no. Okay, what else do we have with the Emperor, Nine of Swords, and the King of Wands? Who's causing you this? I don't want to say a specific word. This. We'll just say this. Who's causing you the anxiety? Who's causing you anxiety? Well, like I said, this is a relationship and love reading, but I'm getting family issues here coming up. Sometimes stuff comes up that's not the topic because it's a factor, such as money. In your case, such as family. We got daddy causing problems. And if you rely on daddy, that's kind of part of this problem. That's a side message for some. Yeah, because like I don't want to speak too soon, but I think cutting that off would be a good idea. Like finding independence as opposed to relying is the theme of those cards, those last 6 cards. 7 of Cups, Queen of Pentacles, and Knight of Swords reversed. I like seeing him reversed for the most part. Your reading is over, actually. That's what I was getting. That's what this is actually telling me. I'm not getting anything else. From this, I'm going to pull from a different card deck for you guys. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's do this one. See if anything comes up in this card deck. If not, that's fine. Might be another one. Might be none. It is time to lead. So, that one is saying, if you were wondering if you should go on your own way because it brought up family issues, it could be talking about that. It could be talking about going on your own as opposed to family, especially if your family is mooching off of you. Okay? If you're dependent on them, time to go on your own. If they're dependent on you, establishing boundaries, financial boundaries. Pause in your journey. Interesting, okay, when you have conflicting messages with it's time to lead and pause in your journey, they don't cancel each other out, okay? What I just said is still the case. But pausing in your journey, I would normally say it feels like a dead card, like it's not applicable, but that is not the case. It's just that it's a very small, specific message to pause in something. It's not an overall message. It does not cancel out the it's time to lead thing. I honestly do feel like pause in your journey could be talking about you're pausing with a specific person. It could be saying you don't have to end, but you can pause. And that could definitely tie into the message of maybe why an ex could work out is because you might have left in a way that left the door open to rekindle. It wasn't like you guys ended because you wanted to. One of you, like I said at the beginning, might have had to for circumstances. So you took a pause, and it was like understood that at some point you would, when the timing was right, come back together. Well, if that's not the case, it could be saying to do that with your current, to say to that person, look, we're not over yet, I don't think, but I think we need to pause. I think we need to reassess some things. We might need to go our separate ways after pausing. It's like maybe your marriage is calling for a separation. You know why people separate is to determine if they want to go their separate ways or not. So this it's time to lead thing is totally separate from pause in your journey. Pausing in your journey with this other person, going separate. And a lot of times when people are in separation, they date other people. And sometimes when they date other people, they determine that they actually don't want to leave their marriage and they come back together. Other people go and be with those people or still get the divorce and then they just will eventually, find somebody else. Other people don't date others, but they still just decide to not be together because there's different factors for why you leave a relationship, a marriage. So it's like if you left because of problems in the marriage and problems with the other person, you're separating no matter what. It's not because of another person. You're just like, look, the person you are and the person I am should not be married together. Let's be separated. Now, what you do from there is your own business because you're separated, and you're free to do what you need to do. From a general perspective of how separation works, some people don't share that view. Some people believe, because this might be a factor for you, okay? Here we go. Some people believe that when you're separated, if you date somebody else, you're cheating on the marriage. Some states, like Virginia, when you are separated, you have to be separated for 1 year before you can get a divorce. You can't just be like, today is February 14th, pagan breakup day. I'm going to the courthouse and I am getting a divorce, mother. They're just like, no, you're in Virginia. You can get divorced February 15th of next year, but you have to be separated for a year. Apparently people rekindle a lot, or no, actually what it was told to me, because I got a divorce in Virginia, that's how I know this. What was told to me is that the courts want you to stay together, so they're giving you the opportunity to think before you act and make sure you really, really do want to get a divorce. It's like a year of pondering. Well, like I was saying, some people think that during that year, if you are involved with another person, that you're cheating on your marriage. And Virginia, they have like where I am now in Florida, it's a no fault divorce, which means if somebody cheats, it's not a factor at all, like for alimony and all this kind of thing. Virginia, though, if somebody cheats, then that is a factor, and you can lose alimony and things like that. So because different states have it differently, everybody has these different views on what is acceptable during separation before you're actually on paper, like, and because of that causes problems. You need to be very, very clear with your separated person that, guess what, we're separated. That means I can do what I want. So can you. Here's the problem. What happens when you go to somebody and you say, hey, I don't want to be married to you anymore? And they say no. It's like, you don't own me. That's not how this works. If I tell you I don't want to be with you, I'm allowed to do that. Did you know that? Do you know that? Because it's important to know that you can literally tell somebody, I don't want to be with you anymore. And you have every right to do so. And they can't keep you in it, because that's not fair and it's not true. You are way more empowered than you think. And if you don't want to be with somebody, if you don't feel safe telling them that, we can talk. Okay? Because that is a thing that happens sometimes, is you don't even feel safe. You have to sneak out of the marriage. I get it. However, on that note, though, with the whole like defining your stuff, if your state allows you to be able to date other people while you're separated, then you are allowed legally to. And if your state does not allow that, consider that as a factor, because it can screw you over. So yeah, I will leave you with that note. Human laws versus spiritual laws are very freaking different, and I have to like explain that to people sometimes. And from a spiritual perspective, you are a sovereign being. Nobody owns you. No human has the right to harm your physical body, treat you badly, treat you with disrespect, cut you down, cheat on you. I mean, that's reinforcing that they don't respect you. So you deserve to be respected. You deserve to be treated right and fairly by everybody in your life. And if they're not treating you that way, deuces. You need to cut them out. I don't care who they are. Significant other, friends, family, acquaintances, coworkers. Cut them out because ain't nobody got time for that. All right? I will leave you with that. And you guys have a wonderful life. Have a wonderful, celebrate anti-Valentine's Day when you watch this video. Buy yourself some flowers so that you don't get epilepsy. Hello, pile 3. Welcome to your love and relationship reading today. Let's see what we have for you. Bring to mind the energy of your situation, your love life. And let's see what we have. Okay, so the shadow card is the Two of Wands. It's a good card. Let's see what else we have. Okay, well, we got the Page of Swords in the reverse with the Moon and the Three of Cups. Conflicted about what? Let's get more. Sun, Five of Cups, and Hermit reverse. Those are, you're getting major cards right off the bat. With the Moon and the Sun, there's that confliction. Hermit reverse. Withdrawing to reflect on past. What else? Bear with me. I'm just saying, I'm just doing my thing here. Thinking out loud. What do we have with you? What are you saying? Path with the Hermit. I don't know. I wonder why I'm getting like radio silence. All right, so we have some characters here now. With the Page of Pentacles reverse, seeing a younger person, and with the Queen of Pentacles upright, and with the Page of, the Six of Pentacles reversed, there could be a side message of money stuff going on. But I'm not really feeling that. What are you? Man, I am so blocked on this. Let me get 3 more and see if I'm even like tuned in or not. I'm totally tuned out. I'm gonna recenter and then I'll do this again.